Bulletcast for life.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Bulletcast. We are about the number, 42nd sports or recreational podcast, but yet again, we are the only sports or recreational podcast that is simply just too sweet. I'm your host. I'm the pod father. I'm like Billy Kane, Peyton Royce. I'm simply iconic. I'm undisputed like Adam Cole, baby. Notice the shirt if you're watching the video. And of course, my tag team partner, I guess he's the Tully to my Arn, you know. He hates you if you're from Saskatchewan, Toronto, Ontario, Vancouver, British Columbia. The Canadian Destroyer, former Bulletcast champion, the first ever 3-time Bulletcast champion. He is one of the hosts of the award-winning Curveballs and Chair Shots podcast.
It's award-winning?
I got Brandon in the building. Creator
Hi.
of Under the Radar. Yes. Applause, people. God damn it.
Mm-hmm.
How's it going, buddy? It's been a while.
It has been a while. Finally, we're in person. The audio quality is much better.
Yes. The performance-enhancing audio is back, baby.
Still a little bit under the weather. So I might sound fine, but if I go on a long rampage and just talk forever, I might have to push the mute button, cough. I might fall over, but I'll get up, just like the man does.
So this Tuesday you were under the weather while you were under the radar?
I was almost gonna name it that. I was almost gonna name the episode that, but I'm gonna save that for another time, possibly.
All right.
You know.
All right. You know, we gotta do it. The name of this episode, Fickle. Episode 97. We're close to episode 100, man.
Almost there.
Yeah, episode 100 will be our end of the year awards, you know, like we did last year. The Casties, as the guy who used to sit next to me over here named it that. But he's not here anymore.
Well, at least one thing remains.
It's like the memory remains, guys. All right, we gotta start off with some really sad news. Couple deaths. The Dynamite Kid, he passed away recently on his birthday, which was that's a shocker within itself. You know, I've seen a couple British Bulldogs matches. Of course, they were former tag team champions in WWF at the time. But Dynamite Kid, really, his matches with the Tiger Mask over in Japan in the early 80s, I was watching one of them yesterday. I think it was from July 23rd of 1982. It was it's stuff I've seen before, but it was so crisp and clean and hard offense. I loved everything about it. I mean, Dynamite Kid, he influenced Jericho, Benoit. You could really see it in Benoit's work. You know, he influenced a lot of guys. But what are your thoughts on the death of the Dynamite Kid?
That's very sad, to be honest. I mean, it's not a surprise, to be honest. He's been in a wheelchair for a very long time.
Yes.
It's a tale of two stories. You can try to look at the positive way or the negative way. Dynamite Kid, very influential, as you said, has influenced wrestlers, you know, since the mid-'80s, since whenever he started wrestling. Very influential, the feud he had with Tiger Mask just when VHSs were coming into fruition and people were tape trading. It was like the thing that you needed to get back in the day. But then also that hard-hitting style that he had also is what kind of crippled his career. He had injuries. He's been in a wheelchair since he's been like 40. It's terrible. He had a rep backstage. Wasn't the greatest guy in the world. He would rib people all the time. And so I think it's interesting, especially a time like this where you can reflect. And I'm not the biggest Dynamite Kid person in the world. I know exactly what he's done to the business, but I don't know the ins and outs of his career. So it's fun listening to all these different people talk about it and kind of learning new things.
Yeah. And
I mean, you can take it whichever way you want how to remember the Dynamite Kid. He's a very interesting figure.
Yes. I got some career highlights for him, so let's get into it. He debuts December 24th of 1975. He retires October 10th of 1996. He held the NWA International Junior Heavyweight Championship once, the WWF Junior Heavyweight Championship once when that was under the New Japan Pro Wrestling banner. He was a WWF Tag Team Champion once with the British Bulldog, of course the famed British Bulldogs. Pro Wrestling Illustrated ranked him as number 5 out of 100 best tag teams in the PWI years with Davey Boy Smith in 2003. And PWI ranked him number 41 of the top 500 singles wrestlers in PWI years in 2003. He was born December 5th, 1958, and he died December 5th, 2018, at the age of 60. R.I.P. to Dynamite Kid. You influenced a lot of guys in the business today. We respect you, and rest in peace. All right, moving on from that, we have another unfortunate death. Larry the Axe Hennig. He is the father of the late Mr. Perfect Kurt Hennig, and he is the grandfather of the Axeman Curtis Axel. Wasn't he? Didn't he just appear at a WWE or some wrestling show? Was he on WWE TV recently? Or
Maybe he has like appeared once when they're in like Minnesota or something. Maybe.
yeah, maybe. I know he was at the what was it, Vengeance 2007 when they had like all the legends before they became Night of Champions. I know he was there for that. But I'm gonna be honest, I don't know that much about Larry the Axe Hennig. But I have some career highlights right here. Do you have anything to say about it before I get into this?
The legendary Hennig family, great wrestler in the AWA from the 60s to the 80s. Great wrestler. He influenced, obviously Kurt Hennig and Curtis Axel. As Curtis Axel tweeted out, kind of like his father, since his father passed away when he was at such a young age, kind of his wrestling teacher, his mentor. And just sad to see him go. Obviously, 82 years old, I believe. So he lived a good life, but it's always kind of sad to see people go, especially legendary figures like him.
Yes. All right, so Larry the Axe Hennig debuts in 1956, retires in 1985. He was the AWA World Tag Team Champion 4 times, once with Duke Hoffman, and then 3 times with Harley Race. Oh, wow, that's nice. The NWA Pacific Northwest Tag Team Champion from 1982. Oh, April 27th of 1982 to May 1st of 1982. His tag team partner when he held those titles, his son, Mr. Perfect. All right, he was in the 2017 Hall of Fame. He was inducted. Oh no, Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame in 2017. Inducted as the tag team partner of Harley Race. Born June 18th, 1936. Died December 6th of 2018. 82 years old. Larry the Axe Hennig, thank you so much for your contributions to the world of professional wrestling. Your son was an amazing talent. Your grandson. He's a great talent too. I wish they'd use him more properly.
5 kids and 28 grandkids. The Hennigs get around. It's a lot. I mean, if you think about it, each kid had more than 5 kids at least, or maybe some of them made up for other ones because I don't know how many siblings Curtis Axel has. But anyways, Hennigs get around. They have fun. They're up there in Minnesota. Not a whole lot to do in Minnesota. It's very close to Canada, so technically I don't hate them as much because they're in the United States, but they're close.
Yes. This news broke after we did our podcast on Tuesday night after Smackdown last week. Edge's mother passed away. Edge, he put a really heartfelt ode to his mother on Instagram, and it was really touching. He talked about in his Hall of Fame speech how his mom was his best friend, his tag team partner in life, really supportive of him wanting to be a wrestler. She said, "Decide what you want to be and go be it," and he went on, became a wrestler, became a Hall of Famer. So Edge probably wouldn't have got to where he was in his time in the world of professional wrestling without the support of his mother. So, Mrs. Copeland, thank you very much. All right. Oh, do you have anything to say about that?
I mean, not really.
All right.
Sad time for Edge and the Copeland family.
Yes. All right. HBO is supposedly releasing a documentary about IWGP Heavyweight Champion Kenny Omega.
Should be fun. Is it associated with Bill Simmons by any chance, or is it just... I haven't heard anything about this, so this is news to me.
I'm not exactly sure. I know guys from CBS Sports were talking like maybe David Shoemaker, because he was involved in the Andre the Giant documentary on HBO. Maybe he's going to be involved in this. So I don't know the ins and outs of this, but once there's more information, we will break it to you.
It should be fun. Hopefully it's like a very sports-like documentary. I enjoyed the Andre the Giant documentary, but there was a lot of WWE propaganda in there that I had a little bit of an issue with. So hopefully with this not being a WWE product, hopefully they don't have as much control over it. So HBO can just... Maybe it's like I don't know the exact storyline. Maybe it's kind of leading through his contract disputes and going up to the Wrestle Kingdom Tokyo Dome show. That should be just a simple, fun hour of documentary time.
Let's do it. Let's see it happen. All right, John Cena, Big Match John. Sports Illustrated will be giving John Cena the Muhammad Ali, Lifetime Achievement Award?
I'll be honest, I didn't even know this was a thing.
Yeah. So, congratulations to Big Match John. He's probably the best crossover star for WWE today. Obviously you have Rock and Hogan, but...
and Austin.
Austin, yeah, but in the real PG sense, we'll go Big Match John. Congratulations.
There's this one guy who's been in a couple movies. I don't know if you heard of him. His name's Dave Bautista.
Oh.
Don't forget about him.
Forgot about Batista. Forgot about Dave. Yeah, but congratulations, John. This is a very prestigious award. I'm glad you're receiving it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry, but Zelina Vega, she's off the market. Apparently, WWE superstars and backstage personnel were made aware that Zelina Vega and Aleister Black tied the knot last week. Thoughts?
Interesting, something I never heard of. I didn't know they were dating, which, to be honest, that's fun. That's good for them for not disclosing that and being like out in the open with it. Obviously, Aleister Black isn't, the most charismatic guy on social media. I don't even know if he has social media, to be honest. So for them to really keep this on lock and just have it out, like leak it out there, they didn't even really announce it. That I appreciate them for doing that. More wrestlers should kind of keep things close to the vest. Ty Dillinger and Peyton Royce, they're not like out there dating, but we all kind of know that they're dating. There's other couples out there that maybe in the storyline kayfabe sense don't exactly mesh well, that they maybe just keep to themselves, like Kathy Kelly and Finn Balor if they're still together.
No, I don't think they are, but yeah.
Well, call me Kathy.
Carmella's free too.
I mean, I'll take anything at this point.
Oh man, I think Tamina's free.
She's a little too old for me.
Wow, Tamina, you are a very pretty woman. Just let it be known.
You've said that many times on and off the air.
What? It's very pretty, gorgeous.
You met her one time at a bar, or saw her one time at a bar with the Usos.
Yes, I did. I walked past her while I was going to get a soda. It's very true. Hell, Jimmy Uso gave me a quarter. So, shout out. All right, moving on from that, you mentioned this on your Under the Radar show. Xavier Woods says wrestling fans are entitled infants. For those people who didn't hear your Under the Radar show,
which is probably a lot of them.
Wow.
Probably a lot of them, let's be honest.
You got one download, I saw.
Well, that's probably your download to put it up on YouTube, but...
Oh, wow.
Under the Radar, utrmailbag@gmail.com. Still empty. Still cobwebs all up on... Gotta censor that out.
Oh, my God.
Censor that! 12 minutes, 2 seconds. I said a bad word. I'm sorry.
Yep.
But that's just how angry I get and how flabbergasted I am at Xavier Woods for calling wrestling fans entitled infants. The audacity. I don't have the exact quote in front of me. But basically he says that all wrestling's good wrestling and you shouldn't, it's an art form and wrestling fans should just sit there and shut up and they shouldn't complain because it's art. So why critique art? Even though there is such thing as bad art. And I know this is kind of a bad thing to say, but they do, pay the bills and blah 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 stuff like that. I don't like that as a good argument for why fans like, I paid for your house, so sign this picture of you at 4:00 in the morning at an airport. But anyways, I think I've made it very clear on other podcasts and other stuff that I've talked about just how terrible the wrestling product is right now. And if Xavier Woods wants to complain about wrestling fans, I think that's just very dumb of him to say that.
I mean, not all wrestling is good wrestling. Have you seen that crap in Newark, California? God, that's awful. But
they've always been nice to me.
Trash, big time trash. No, but really looking at it, not all wrestling's good. It's just I've seen some pretty bad wrestling. There's some stuff I can never watch again. But I think what he's getting at is that people complain like, oh man, they should do this, they should do that, man. NXT so much better than WWE. I think,
and that was the other thing that didn't make any sense. He said, because NXT was such a great show, but SummerSlam sucked, then you have no right to complain about SummerSlam because it's the same company, which makes no sense. It's two completely different shows. And with, TV shows in general, fans complain all the time. And yes, we don't know the ins and outs. We don't know how to produce a television show, but we know what we want. And the ratings this week in particular have showed us that fans who don't like the product, they just don't watch. They don't complain. There's a lot of them out there who don't complain.
It's all right. But the man knows what we want.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yes.
Maybe they can work this. Maybe it goes into the rap battle next week on SmackDown. Maybe they work that in there. So, we never know. We'll see how this plays out over time. All right, so NXT TakeOver is now going to be on Friday night. And then the WWE Hall of Fame will be on Saturday night, WrestleMania weekend. They kind of swapped it. They did. Yeah, so it's going to be really interesting because, the Ring of Honor New Japan Super Show is Saturday night. So now if you're going to WrestleMania in New York, New Jersey, wherever, that whole little combined tri-state area, you can go to both shows.
Good on WWE. I know maybe they're not afraid to blink. I think they realized that a lot of fans wanted to go to both NXT and ROH, so it's a good business practice to say, hey, if we have a lot of fans that kind of cross over, really want to go to this MSG show, then we're gonna put our NXT show on Friday, which will affect other shows that are on Friday. But for the most part, the entire weekend is going to be built around NXT, ROH, and then the WrestleMania show. Good on them for doing that.
And then WrestleCon and all those other shows that are going to be going on.
But WrestleCon's in the morning, in the afternoon. That's not going to affect that.
I'm talking about like
They have the WrestleCon shows, but
Yeah.
not the meet and greets, which is where they make all their money.
yes, Joey Janela's probably going to do something that weekend. So there's going to be a lot of wrestling in New York that weekend. So good move for WWE. Some people were saying, oh, they were scared people weren't going to go to Takeover. I don't think that's true. I know plenty of people that would go to a Takeover more than a New Japan Ring of Honor show, especially if the Elite isn't there. Come on now. That's idiotic.
But it is a historic show, the first wrestling show in MSG since I don't know 80-some years
not WWE.
or whatever that's happened. Non WWE related. It's very historic, and who knows what the exact reason is. There's rumors that maybe that The Rock's schedule he couldn't do it on Friday, so instead they moved it to Saturday. Maybe The Rock will be in the Hall of Fame, and maybe that's one of the reasons why they moved it. But for them, I think it's good business practice. Yes, they probably were going to lose a lot of tickets because people would have chose MSG over TakeOver, moving it to Friday. I think they'll no doubt sell out on Friday.
I don't know. We going? We out?
I mean, if we get media passes and we get free stuff, I'm all for it. But I ain't taking that 6-hour flight across the country to watch it.
True. All right, ladies and gentlemen, 8 cities have been revealed for the 2020 XFL teams. I have them right here. You kind of alluded to this on your show also. Dallas, Texas. I used to live there. Houston, Texas, Los Angeles, California, New York, St. Louis, Missouri, Seattle, Washington, Tampa Bay, Florida, and Washington, D.C. Thoughts, comments?
I mean, I talked about it a lot on my Under the Radar podcast, both this week and last week, which you can catch on YouTube. And pretty much all those cities, except for St. Louis, are NFL cities, so that just shows that they're kind of maybe not piggybacking off the NFL, but definitely trying to take advantage of the stadiums there. Not all the stadiums are NFL stadiums. I know the Dallas one is going to be where the Texas Rangers play.
Okay.
So some of them, not all of them, are NFL stadiums, but for the most part they are.
It's kind of it's going to be kind of interesting to see like who do they get for these teams and all that other stuff. I saw on Twitter somebody was like, "What if Vince signed Colin Kaepernick?" Not just like as a big media move and all that other stuff. What do you think about that?
That'll be 2 years from now. I don't know his exact age. He'd probably be in his early to mid 30s. He could, if he stays healthy, he keeps in good shape. I guess he can play. But that's what the XFL needs at this point. They need to get good players. They need to get like at least a superstar or two if they can like have some sort of like deal in place to where they can offer big money contracts to rookies coming out of college that the NFL just can't agree to at this point because they don't have the funds, they don't have the collective bargaining agreement to give a rookie that much money. I think the NFL or the XFL definitely needs to get some big names in order to get the respective NFL fans.
Yeah, no, I think Kaepernick would be the right move. We may think of Vince McMahon as really a conservative person, but I think
I mean his wife is in the Trump cabinet.
that is true. I think his political preference is money, just straight up. Whatever's quote unquote best for business, as we've heard on WWE television. I think Kaepernick would be an interesting move. I mean, hell, his grandfather started an African American league way before the Negro leagues even started. So kind of going with that same lineage and doing something different, changing it up, shaking things up again, so to speak. But it's all going to be in due time. 2020, we got a long way away to see how all that plays out. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this day in wrestling, let's talk about it. So, Dean Ambrose is 33 years old today. Happy birthday, Dean. He's getting a slice of that pie.
I know what you're talking about.
You don't listen to the commentary on Raw?
What?
In all due respect, that happened like 3 months ago, so what am I talking about? That phrase, that line. Okay, moving on. Sonny's 46 years old today.
Happy birthday, Sonny.
Happy birthday,
Saw
Sonny.
you one time on the ground at WrestleCon taking your heels off because your feet were throbbing.
Hey,
It happens to the best
it's
of
all
us.
right. Brett didn't have sunny days, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. That was Sean. Just had to clear that up.
Sonny over Sable. I'm saying that right now. Hot takes. I'm a Sonny guy.
Oh, God. Sunny now?
I'm saying Sonny in the 90s.
What's wrong with Sunny now?
I mean, Sonny still is a beautiful woman. She's only 46 years old. Kind of shocking, to be honest. I thought she would have been a little bit older. That shows how young she was back in the mid to late 90s.
All right. And Rick Rude, the ravishing one, would have been 60 years old today. R.I.P. R.I. Pizzle. All
My
right.
nizzle.
Oh, my God. Let's get into the fan mail segment.
Faux shizzle.
Fan mail. So we got some fan mail.
Faux rizzle.
All right. Oh, God.
Fizzle.
X.
Throw the tea up.
Oh. Can I read it now?
Oh, sorry.
We got 4 to get through.
Oh. Woo.
Yeah, I know.
It'd be nice if I had some of that on under the radar.
All right. X80 brand. Hey, last week's episode when you guys talked about does WWE count the ECW title as a world championship? I did my research. Oh, wow. I guess we're going to clear this up right now. Jack Swagger, Mark Henry, and Christian all held the ECW and World Heavyweight Championships, and they only credit Swagger and Henry as one-time world champions, and they credit Christian as being a former two-time World Heavyweight Champion. If they counted the ECW title, Swagger and Henry would be two-time world champions, and Christian would be a three-time world champion. Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. There you go.
I'm still right. I don't care. I don't care what
He
he said.
just cleared it up. What do you mean?
I mean,
What? He cleared it up.
fine, I guess.
Christian in interviews has said two-time world champ.
Because he's talking about the TNA championship, right?
No. God, no. That's nowhere near. Oh, my God.
No? Oh, okay.
That's not. All right, Nate Dogg in 8TE, capital DAWG.
Dog.
Yes.
Dog pound.
All right.
Faux shizzle.
All right, let's get into it. Raw was awful this week. It was absolutely abysmal. I don't know who decided to air that hot garbage on television. Raw needs something new. Raw needs something fresh. Ladies and gentlemen, Raw desperately needs the man. He has like 7 exclamation points. What are your thoughts on that? Thoughts on Raw needing the man?
Raw has a lot of things wrong with them, but I think the one thing that they had right was the women's division in terms of Ronda Rousey. We can talk about Bayley and Sasha Banks, but I thought the Ronda Rousey portion of Raw was probably the best part of the show.
Yeah, she didn't say that much. It was good.
So I don't think bringing Becky Lynch over is going to solve all your problems. I think mostly just having Baron Corbin on 5 different segments like he's Stone Cold Steve Austin. I think that's your biggest problem.
Amen.
And the women's division, yes, it has its issues with what Alexa Bliss is doing, but I think Ronda Rousey in the main event of the women's division, that's not the problem. I think you need to either get some call-ups or do something to where that main event men's division is something needs to happen there.
Okay. Mr. Ego, what do you think needs to happen to help spice up the Raw Women's division?
Well, we're just talking about that.
Ah.
The Raw Women's division, it's fine, I guess. They hinted at a tag team division on Raw, so I don't know if that means. I think at this point, if you're gonna introduce a women's tag team division, you have to just combine all the women. You gotta take out. Hopefully, that means the WrestleMania main event is gonna have Becky Lynch and Ronda, or some form of capacity with Charlotte probably in there in the triple threat match. But if you combine the titles that way, you get all the women on either one company or one champion trading back and forth on each brand.
Yeah.
You can kind of combine that, and then I don't know.
Yeah, but this whole women's tag team thing, look, they don't have enough women to form all these different teams. I mean, DeVille and Rose, that's okay. Jackson, Tamina, Bayley, and Sasha. The Iconics, and I think that's it. We're not just going to have random pairings of women to have tag team championships. That makes absolutely no sense at all whatsoever. All right, and our last fan mail is from Hootie Who 420. Oh, he's back.
My man.
All right. Hey, guys, enjoy the show every week. Quick question. Quick question. In that announcement of the XFL cities, did they announce Riyadh or Jeddah as any of the cities to play in?
I do not believe so.
I see what he was going for there. Honestly, if the the Prince of Saudi Arabia or whatever, if the dude floats events like $2 billion, it'll happen. Trust me. All right, well, moving on from the fan mail. That was some good fan mail. I really enjoyed it. Thank you guys so much. All right, let's jump right into this Monday Night Raw recap. Jesus Christ, what the hell was this? Raw was abysmal. Like I forgot who said it just now, but Raw, this was not good.
No, okay, so Raw last week was
Trash.
was the drizzling you know what.
Trash.
This week it was just kind of terrible. So it's an improvement. We're getting better.
I mean,
Maybe next week it's just gonna be bad.
let's see. All right, we start off Monday Night Raw with a 10-bell salute to the 41st President of the United States, George H.W. Bush, who passed away. He had the presidential funeral and all that stuff that aired all over the news this week, so R.I.P. to
They were in Houston, so that's where he's from. So it's nice touch they did that.
R.I.P. to the 41st President. All right, so after that we have Rousey and Natty. They get dominated. I'm not gonna lie, they get dominated by Nia Jax, Tamina, Riot Squad. Natalya goes through a table. Thoughts on all this?
It was interesting that they just kind of threw this out there as the first match of the show, since this was kind of the big thing that they were advertising. And then it made sense to how they didn't really have a match. They put it off and then have Natalya go through a table. And now, just coincidentally, now Natalya and Ruby Riott will face off at TLC in a tables match. So good on them for that. And it was just a nice little thread weave throughout the show to have Ronda Rousey kind of go and try to find a new tag team partner. So I'm not gonna be mad at it. It was fine for what it was. Just putting heat on the heels and
They're in a tables match.
yes.
Oh well, Natalya, she's been in a tables match before. I think she'll.
I pay
she'll do
attention
all right.
to the internet, Philip. I'm out here in these streets.
You're out here in these streets.
Yeah.
All right, I got to sit through that until. Oh God. All right. Good for Natalya. Ruby Riott, I don't know. She hasn't really done anything to really impress me. But we'll see. We shall see. All right, Little Miss Bliss, the head of the Raw Women's Division. She has an open forum for Sasha and Bayley to speak to fans in the crowd. Fans ask, who would you want to wrestle? And Trish and Lita. The mention of Women's Tag Team Championships. What did you think of this?
Not only did they do this terrible segment last week, they doubled down and did it again this week. This was hot garbage, and those people that were in the crowd, they really just they looked like indie wrestlers, didn't they? It was strange. They looked like they'd be a good fit on some like indie promotion out in the Houston area. Don't exactly know. I'm not big on Houston indie wrestling, but it just kind of seemed a little fishy to me that maybe those questions might have been pre-planted there. And with WWE kind of being fake and inauthentic right now, just having one of these segments just shows you that this is terrible. How fake that this was, and just the elementary school burns that Sasha and Bayley were giving Alexa Bliss. It was bad, and then wasn't This Is Your Life bad, but it was bad.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't understand why you do this 2 weeks in a row. God forbid they do it 3 weeks in a row.
oh, do it again. Let's do it at TLC. I'll love it. I love everything about it. No, but seriously, I don't know if they were indie wrestlers or whatever, but you can't just give anybody a live microphone on live television. You can't do that. Remember what LeVar Ball's son or whatever said on Miz TV?
Abraham Washington or whatever the hell his name was.
Yeah, you can't just be giving people live microphones on live television. So I understand the plans. Okay,
You can't give Scott Steiner a live mic. Something bad's gonna happen.
You can't let Scott Steiner do math on TV. That's what you can't.
Hey, he's a mathematician, math wizard.
God, yes. No, but this I don't know what to think of this. I want to move past it. I don't want to think about it. I never want to talk about it again.
Until we have to talk about it next week.
Oh, of course, yes. All right, and then who ran down? Dana Brooke, Mickey James, and
Alicia Fox.
yes, Alicia Fox. And then this results in
2 weeks ago, I watched like 10 minutes of 205 Live.
How was that?
It's fine. It was just, it carried over after I watched NXT, and I watched it, and then I stopped watching it because I had to do homework.
Okay.
Yeah, So shout out to 205
Were
Live.
those 10 minutes better than all 3 hours of Monday night?
Probably, because it was sound booking. They had storylines that were coherent and made sense.
Yes.
So good for them.
All right, yeah. So Banks and Bayley go on to defeat Mickey James and Alicia Fox.
As they should. as they
I
should.
don't know. I feel like James and Fox should have went over.
I really don't care about this. I told you the main event women's division is good with Ronda Rousey.
Look, man.
When you got this stuff,
Hold on.
it ain't too hot.
Going back to that spice up the women's division fan mail thing. Look, man. You want me to care about the women's division on Raw? Really? You want to entice me with the women's division on Raw? I need the boss back. Not this. I'm happy to be here with my friend Bailey and these wacky, wavy, inflatable, arm flailing tube men. I need the boss. I need the Sasha's Ratchet. No, she's not Chance from NXT. I need the boss back on Monday nights. All right, man. I need that. I need the dastardly heel Sasha Banks to betray her friend, and then they have a damn near instant classic on a pay-per-view. We should have got that. We should have got it at Evolution. Hell, we should have got it in Brooklyn. But we didn't. I mean, the thing started in, like, February, and it just kept going and going and going, and nothing happened. Nothing was made of it. There we go. That's my hot take.
You feel better now?
That's my hot take for this episode. I need the boss back. All right? From one boss to another. I need that on my TV Monday nights if you want me to care. And if not, hell, just throw her on Smackdown and give her a meaningful storyline.
Or you can just give her a meaningful storyline on Raw.
Smackdown, it's the land of opportunity, remember?
That's what the best in the world, Shane McMahon, says.
Exactly, the best in the world, Shane McMahon. And his co-best in the world, The Miz. We're going to get
That's up for debate.
We're going to get into all that when we talk about Tuesday Night Delight. Alright, so moving on from all this, it was Drew McIntyre Appreciation Night. And this was as much of a League of Nations segment as I've ever seen. Remember when they awarded Rusev with that, some medal of something? It reminded me of that when I saw this. You know, Baron Corbin awards Drew, what was the name of this medal? Or
I don't know.
Participation Award, let's just call it that. He awards him this, and then Dolph Ziggler shows up, and I've been asking what the hell's going on with Dolph and Drew. You know, Drew says, you know, to Dolph, you know, you just don't meet the height requirement, you're holding me back, all this stuff. Dolph starts assaulting him. And then we get into a match with Dolph and Drew. Before we talk about the match, what do you think of the promo segment?
The promo itself, I thought Drew McIntyre's promo was great. It can be a babyface or a heel promo, just a few little tweaks here and there. I thought Drew McIntyre, this was a really great promo from him. And then with Dolph Ziggler coming out, it kind of reminded me of like the Seth Rollins face turn, because the reason why that Dolph Ziggler turned face is because the heel didn't want him, just like how the Authority didn't want Seth Rollins. So now it's like, okay, are we supposed to cheer Dolph Ziggler now just because the bigger, badder heel doesn't want to be his friend anymore? So
yes,
we're supposed to feel bad for him, even though he hasn't really done anything. Like, he didn't break up with Drew. Drew broke up with him, so now he's going to come crawling back to us because why?
Because
we feel sorry for him?
Because we like Dolph Ziggler, all right?
Because he can give us a 3.5-star match on a daily basis? Weekly basis?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean,
yeah.
He's been doing this for, 8 years now, and he's still same old, same old.
Look, man, they should have left my boy Dolph on SmackDown. I felt like something was going to happen. I felt like that world title was in his grasp. I really did. But, you know, I mean, we move on to the match. It was a good match, you know. Finn Balor comes out, interferes, throws a shotgun drop kick at Drew McIntyre. Dolph hits a super kick, 1, 2, 3. Dolph ends the undefeated streak of the Scottish Terminator, Drew McIntyre.
Technically the first time he's been pinned or submitted. Oh. Whoa, easy there. You're going to break the table.
I am. That's how excited I am that Dolph got to win on Raw.
Well, he to be honest, he probably should have got the win just because it's a weak babyface turn to begin with. And then if he comes out, faces Drew McIntyre, and then loses clean, he's already dead in the water. And even though he did get some help, so it's not exactly the cleanest of wins, but it's good to see Dolph getting a victory here. Build some sort of momentum. He's still the, 5th babyface on the depth chart behind Seth, Braun, Finn, and Elias. So it's not exactly the... I
forgot about Braun Strowman.
Not exactly the strongest babyface depth at the moment once you get past Seth and Braun, but good on Dolph. He's probably going to lose next week or whenever his next match is against Drew McIntyre. So, yeah, how long is this going to last?
Or is it all a ruse to help Drew McIntyre beat Finn Balor at TLC?
Why would they have a match like that?
Dolph and Drew were smart people, man.
He could have just been MMA, MIA.
MMA.
Good UFC show coming up this weekend. But anyways, he might have been MIA, and then just all of a sudden a TLC shows up, and then they kind of reunite, and then he can be Dolph can be Drew McIntyre's sidekick again.
I don't know. We'll see. They had a good thing going with the Shawn Diesel thing. I wanted to see that go further, man.
But we all knew that eventually it was going to be Drew that was going to get the big push, and he looks like he's getting it. I think he's really good. They had the backstage promo afterwards with, I believe it was Charlie, and I thought it was another just fire promo from Drew McIntyre. I think he's just a great kind of throwback. He can be a heel or a babyface, and he just gives straightforward promos. He's not smart. He's not funny about it.
Would you say this run on Raw is better than his NXT run?
I'd probably say so. I think it's more comparable to what he did in TNA. It's more I can't exactly remember what happened, but he started off as a heel, I think, and then he kind of turned babyface. And like, to be honest, his heel and babyface persona was pretty much the same thing, but it's just he make a few tweaks. He doesn't cheat. He's all for the fans, and he loves wrestling, and he does it. And
yeah,
good to see him.
I mean, the whole Drew McIntyre thing. Let's keep going with this for a little bit. I mean, he starts out on SmackDown as the Chosen One. It reminds me of Triple H, really. He starts out as the Chosen One, this rich, arrogant gimmick, and then he morphs into this. He gets a little bigger, morphs into this killer, this game player, this big game player, main eventer, and all that other stuff. So, if you really look at Triple H's career, you can kind of see that. If you look at Drew McIntyre's transformation, you can see it also. So, Drew Mac, the Scottish psychopath, it's working for me. It's working for me a lot. All right, moving on from that, Elias, he gets revenge, so to speak, on Lio Rush, smashes him with a guitar, gets a little comeuppance on Bobby Lashley. Finn Balor comes out there and helps him. This is just a Finn Balor episode.
Finn Balor gained some TV time. Good for old Finn.
Oh, my God. What did you think of the Elias stuff?
It's fine. We're just kind of seeing Elias. He just kind of the same thing, only he doesn't troll the crowd as much.
Yes. All right.
We're not even going to talk about Lucha House Party and the abysmal things that have going on, and it makes absolutely no sense how Lucha House Party are baby faces, and yet they are cheating the rules and getting handicap matches against heels when the entire show premise has been that the heels have been getting the upper hand on baby faces because they bend the rules. So who is bending the rules in favor of Lucha House Party against the Revival? So apparently Baron Corbin likes Lucha House Party. He likes to have a party. He loves Fortnite. That's why he loves the little he loves the piñatas.
Dude, that's not worth talking about. If it was, I would have put it on the script.
Well, I'm just saying we didn't talk about it last week. You did not talk about it this week, so I'm just going to force it in here. Because what is going
are being wasted.
I hope the Revival leave WWE. They go to AEW. When we finally see that Young Buck Revival match we've all been wanting to see.
Hey, one of the Young Bucks tweeted Revival versus Young Bucks. It will happen. So
at this point, it looks like it's going to happen. I don't know when the contracts run out, but...
And then that whole Bobby Roode, AOP, Chad Gable, whatever all that stuff was, that was trash too. I don't want to talk about it. So let's talk about Ambrose and Rollins.
Okay.
All right. So... I don't know what happened. Maybe Vince McMahon saw the Dark Knight or Dark Knight Rises or whatever and saw Bane for the first time and decided Dean Ambrose has to wear one of these masks. So he comes out with all these... Whoa. So he comes out with all these people with all these masks on. And I guess they added a siren to his theme song, which it sounded all right. It's whatever. I don't care. So, yeah, that happens. But then once he takes off the mask, cuts a really decent promo. Then Rollins comes out, and then they start brawling or whatever. Dirty deeds outside like we've seen before. It really kind of turned the notch up slightly a little bit on this feud. That's been kind of lackluster. Thoughts?
I like the visual of Dean Ambrose with the mask. And, yes, I did get the Bane vibes from him, especially when he was talking through the gas mask. I thought it was a cool visual. I just don't understand why Dean Ambrose is like he's kind of being the babyface Dean Ambrose, where he was all kooky and he was doing all these dumb little things, and now he's just doing the same thing but as a heel, and his gimmick is calling everybody smelly, and it's just this isn't what I envisioned the Dean Ambrose heel turn. The first time he's been a heel since the Shield, and even when he was in the Shield, it was like the John Moxley that we know he could be in WWE, and now he's I just don't understand what the point of this is. Yes, it's a PG product. They don't want to like go too down and get all grimy and stuff like that. But you can still like have. They did it with the Shield. He can be a crazy lunatic bad guy without having to like get cheap heat and calling the fans smelly. So it was kind of an improvement. I would say a little bit, as you said. The remix to his music is all right. It's maybe they should turn down the siren a little bit. It's a little overpowering of the music, but I, I I'm very sad about what's going on with Dean Ambrose at the moment.
The match will. I mean, they have the go home show next week. Maybe that'll.
See, this is the problem with like TLC. Like TLC, the build has been atrocious, especially on Raw. SmackDown has been all right, but then when you come down to it, you look at the card on paper, you have a bunch of matches that are going to be really good. The triple threat TLC match, Daniel Bryan and AJ Styles, Finn Balor and Drew McIntyre, this match with Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins. They're all going to be like really good matches if they get the time, but yet all this build has been terrible, and it could be so much better if the show was booked in a
It's just to get us to the Rumble, man. That's all that this is. Just to get us to the Rumble.
Maybe, here's an idea. You don't have a pay-per-view in December. You go straight from Survivor Series to the Royal Rumble.
What do we do in December? Tribute to the Troops?
You make Tribute to the Troops a little bit more of a bigger deal.
Yep, they've already taped that, by the way. And apparently, the big dog made an appearance.
Good on him.
All right. So, moving on from that, Rhino gets fired from Monday Night Raw, WWE, whatever. So, yeah, on Raw, impromptu match, Slater and Rhino. Loser leaves. Slater rolls up Rhino. Rhino gets pinned. During the commercial break, he said thank you to the fans. So, maybe Rhino's leaving for good, or actually leaving. I know he tried to become, like, mayor or something of Detroit or Michigan or something like that. Governor or something. I don't know. But I guess he has political aspirations. And then, so after this, Heath Slater is rewarded at ref's shirt, and like, this is your new job. So, I mean, this could be a hero for Slater. You know, we really did love him trying to get a job. He's got kids, all that stuff. Maybe he can be the ref that helps the good guys win and goes up against the authority. What are your thoughts on that?
It was kind of just out of the blue how you just bring up the Heath Slater Rhino thing, and then they do the loser leaves town match. And if they knew Rhino, like, I don't know exactly what's going on with Rhino, if he is retiring, if this is just a storyline, but if they knew Rhino was just gonna, if he was gonna leave, he was gonna retire, then why don't you build him up a little bit, or even just have like a solid happy ending with both of them like winning a tag team match like as the main event, and then just have a Rhino with the send off, have a nice little promo to the crowd, or like I don't know like what the whole point of this was. Hopefully it comes back around and it does. There's some sort of storyline behind it to where Heath Slater like ultimately screws over Baron Corbin if he has a match with Kurt Angle or something. Like I don't understand what the point of this is right now. I have hopes that it'll make sense in by Royal Rumble or WrestleMania time, but that's asking a lot.
Yes. All right, we're moving on from that. Finn Balor defeats former WWE World Heavyweight Champion Jinder Mahal.
As he should.
I don't know about that. My boy Jinder, WWE Champion, United States Champion.
Hey, he's in the semifinals of the Mixed Match Challenge.
Who is?
Jinder Mahal, him and Alicia Fox.
What? There we go.
Probably going to make it to the finals because they don't want people pulling double duty.
I gotta watch that then. All right.
Finals taking place on TLC.
That is very
Nobody
true.
talks about that.
That is very true, man. They're gonna be on the kickoff show.
Probably.
Jesus. All right, yeah. So, thoughts on my boy Balor picking up a win over my boy Jinder?
Finn Balor can have a great match. Jinder Mahal can't. They met somewhere in the middle. It was okay.
2.2 stars, maybe.
Sure.
All right, cool.
Why not?
And then Rowdy Ronda Rousey, the WWE Raw Women's Heavyweight Champion of the world, and Ember Moon, former NXT Women's Champion, go on to defeat Nia Jax, a former Raw Women's Champion, and Tamina. Thoughts?
Decent match. Exactly what I predicted on Under the Radar. Either Ronda Rousey taps out Tamina, or the heels get disqualified. And that's exactly what happened. Ronda puts Tamina in the armbar. She wins. Good little match, as I said. Good storyline throughout. They had the promo with Nia Jax with Charlie or whoever it was. It was kind of weird, especially when she yelled and it kind of like overmodulated the mic. It wasn't the best. But Ronda, with her backstage seriousness and kind of, you know, being who she is, I thought it was a good little storyline weave throughout the show. And then the match itself was what you would expect. It was good. Gives Ember Moon a little bit of a boost. But
Let me fantasy book right here real quick. TLC, Rousey versus Jax. I know the match is going to be good. Some ref takes a bumper, ref's distracted. Tamina super kick. Ronda Rousey, Jax leg drop, Samoan drop, whatever. 1, 2, 3. Jax is champ. And then the following night,
which isn't going to happen.
It's not going to happen. Fantasy book. That's what I'm saying. Following night on Raw, Jax can make that, like I was saying last week, make that statement. Oh, the last time, remember what happened the last time you got kicked in the head? You ran and you hit or whatever. I don't know, something like that. We'll see. It won't happen, but you know, I can dream, can I? All right, let's get into the SmackDown recap. Let's hit that real quick. So the women's championship segment, we have a contract signing page is out there because she's the general manager. We have Asuka, Charlotte, and the man, Becky Lynch, the SmackDown Live Women's Champion. They're all talking. Asuka cut a decent promo. Charlotte, you know, showing back to the heel run she had, which was good mic work. And the man, she's just excellent on the mic. But what really upset me was Charlotte told her to shut her mouth, and she did. The man
I didn't like that, how Charlotte kind of told off Becky, and Becky not exactly like shut her mouth and didn't say anything else after that, but she did kind of like that. But that also is something that they always do in WWE, is like that you say something, then I say something, you say something, I say something, even though what they're actually saying is like these terrible things. And if you watch a UFC press conference, like when Conor McGregor's running wild and just talking trash to everybody, like especially when they did the Khabib thing, like Khabib was just trying to talk over Conor, but Conor was like, shut up, I'm talking, and blah, blah, blah. Like it's just chaotic and they're just going back and forth. You can barely understand what anybody's saying. That's one of the fake things about WWE and wrestling in general. For the most part, that's one of the things why I like backstage segments and backstage interviews, just because it's one person talking. That's all it is. There's no rebuttal, so that's the only thing that you have to listen to.
Yeah, and then you know Charlotte, Becky signs the paper and she walks away. Charlotte's like, "You're just gonna let your champ walk away?" I feel like Becky should have had a microphone and been like, "The champ can do what the champ wants," you know, something like that, while she's walking away, just talking trash. Or back towards the competition. Anyway, Charlotte says, you know, Asuka, I beat you at WrestleMania, ended your streak. So next week, Charlotte versus Asuka 2.
Should be fun. I thought that was a good segment in general. All three women are kind of, they all have their intense moments. So there's, you know, not one clear baby face in there, but I think definitely Becky and Asuka are baby faces. I think Flair's definitely taken more of the role of as a heel. She was definitely more heel this week than she has been the last couple weeks since her kind of turn at Survivor Series. So I think they're heading in the right direction, but who knows? When this Charlotte Becky feud's over, maybe Charlotte's a babyface again.
Yeah. All right, and then during this thing, Sonya Deville and God's greatest gift, Mandy Rose.
You get in contact with Corey about the Mandy Rose fan club?
Dude, I guess because, you know, he doesn't like that other guy named Philip, and then my name's Philip, so it's kind of, yeah, you know. Well, we'll see. Maybe Renee can get me in contact with him. But yeah, God's great. Oh my God, she got me flustered. I can't speak. Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville. They have a tag team match with.
Check out Demandy's Donuts on YouTube. A great show. They travel across the world. They eat a glazed donut, compare and contrast, and rate them. It's a great, like 4 minutes of your life every week, every Tuesday.
It's very tasteful. Mm-hmm. Pun intended.
Every Wednesday, I believe.
Yes. Yeah, Deville and Rose, they defeat Asuka and Flair.
Yeah, Charlotte and Asuka can't get on the same page. They kind of hit each other, and that cost them the victory. It's solid booking. It makes sense. Obviously, you don't want these top people to lose all the time, but Sonya and Mandy, they're kind of that next tier down, so getting them a win against these top tier opponents builds them up a little bit. Who knows? 6 months down the line who's going to be the bigger deal, but
Yep. All right. Jey Uso defeats Cesaro and Xavier Woods in a triple threat match. So I guess we're gonna have a triple threat tag team title match at TLC. Is there a stipulation for that, or?
I have not heard one yet.
Yeah.
Should be fun. Once again, a lot of these matches. We're gonna have to wait till the rap battle next week. Who knows? Maybe somebody's gonna get hit with a chair, and then it's a chairs match.
Yes, I'm excited. I'm excited for the rap battle. The last one, last year, it was good. I did not expect it to be as good as it was. I can't wait to see what kind
Line of the year.
Don't get rated R like your boy Xavier Woods. I can't wait to see what kind of fire line Cesaro's gonna drop. I'm excited, man. Excited for this rap battle. Maybe we should have a rap battle.
You don't want the smoke.
I don't want the smoke.
You don't want the smoke.
You want these bars, man.
I've written a rap or two in my life.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. What's your rap name?
I don't know. Little cheese, little queso.
There we go. Make it happen. All right. And then Rusev, he cuts a backstage promo with Lana. This was probably Rusev's best mic work since being in WWE. I don't think it was scripted. I think they just let Rusev be Rusev. Let him be his little wacky self.
Yeah, Rusev, his real life persona is kind of weird, quirky, awkward, and that kind of came across on this promo. It was fun. If that's the direction they're going to go with them, kind of embrace the Happy Rusev Day weirdness that he is, but then take him seriously once he gets into the ring. I'm okay with that. He took over Aiden English now. Now he's singing Rusev Day. I got to wait and see. Hopefully, him and Nakamura can do some good things.
Rusev Day just ordered one of those shirts. WWE had the little bundle deal: buy one shirt for regular price, get one for $1. So it's gonna be some good stuff coming in for the Podfather. Excited. All right, and then we have Miz TV with the new Daniel Bryan, and oh my goodness, this enticed me. It hit me in my feel spot. I love the new Daniel Bryan. I love everything about it. He said the Yes Movement is dead. He took off those stupid side plates off the WWE Championship. No side plate title. I like it. I'm not gonna lie, I do. He said he kicked one guy in the groin on one night. But we eat all that processed meat with hormones in it, and we drink out of our plastic bottles. I mean, look at this. Look at this. I feel like a terrible person. Daniel, I'm sorry. I really am.
I got my reusable steel water bottle I got from Costco. I'm a good person.
Daniel Bryan needs to be a mean, greedy, dirty vegan who tells us we are wrong for what we do, who tells us we are wrong for eating processed meat, for drinking out of plastic. Hell, give me a little 2009, 2010 straight edge society CM Punk. Tell us how we're wrong for consuming alcoholic beverages. I need some of that in my life. I'm all for it. I'm all for this Daniel Bryan. I love it, and I think he's having fun playing this character. I really do.
Yeah, it seemed as though the whole heel turn was his idea. And I said when I saw Daniel Bryan walk down to the ring at Survivor Series, I fell in love with Daniel Bryan again. And so now watching this segment, I think I'm now obsessed with Daniel Bryan again. This was a great segment. I thought Daniel Bryan walked the line perfectly of how he was supposed to deal with The Miz. He didn't embrace him, but yet he didn't cower to him. And it was just kind of like he didn't go at him, but then he didn't buddy up to him. So it was just, he walked that fine line. I like that.
This is another thing. Miz said, am I right that everything I've been saying all this time? And Daniel said yes. And then he said no, kind of playing back to the whole no movement. And you know what this reminded me of? Bobby Heenan for years told us that Hulk Hogan was not a good guy. He had lust in his eyes for Elizabeth, all that other stuff. And then when Hogan put on the black and white and turned heel and joined the NWO, I remember Heenan was like, I told you he was a bad guy when he dropped the leg on Macho Man. It's kind of the same line. Miz has been telling us for 8 years that Daniel Bryan needs to get mean. He's not what you think he is. He's not this amazing internet darling that we all know and love. There's deception in Daniel Bryan, and then this is it. This has gotten me fired up. I need this every single week. Hell, Monday Night Raw needs Daniel Bryan. Get rid of the Universal title, WWE title, the #1 World Championship in WWE. Make it happen. Fickle.
Anyways, I love this promo. I think it's a great turn for Daniel Bryan, a new aspect to his character. Give it 6 months, everybody's gonna love him, especially when he's facing AJ Styles. He's a great opponent to go off of because everybody loves AJ. And then you go down the line, who exactly is Bryan gonna feud with after this to get people to boo him? I think if you get Finn Balor to move over to SmackDown, I think he's a good opponent. But then you go Jeff Hardy, Rey Mysterio. Those are good, but Daniel Bryan's honestly probably the bigger star. Maybe he could probably get boos against Rey. I don't know about Jeff. It's a great character by Daniel. You got to kind of walk that fine line to where technically what he's saying is kind of the truth, and he is the hippie vegan, but he's taking that extra step to kind of go over the edge to make him a heel.
Yes. And then, AJ comes out there and Miz hits AJ with a skull crushing finale, leading to Miz versus AJ later on in the night. But speaking of Jeff Hardy has a match with Randy Orton on SmackDown, and I know what a lot of people are thinking, oh my god, didn't we just see this? And I was like, we just saw it, but I'll watch it. They don't have bad matches together. They have decent matches, if not good. So I'm watching, and then I hear a voice. I hear Samoa Joe's voice, and he's randomly bartending for some reason. But oh my god, he just ripped.
Does he have a bartender's license?
I don't know. He may. Samoa Joe's a very talented.
I mean, those dog days in TNA, it must have been rough. He had to make a few extra cash, a few extra bucks on the side.
Yeah, Samoa Joe's a very talented man. He's just randomly bartending. He just rips into Jeff Hardy for his abuse of alcoholic beverages, and he said, drink responsibly as he's, pouring the beer. I'm like, oh my! I loved everything about it. I hope let's have that match at TLC. Take one of these matches that doesn't mean anything off. Take off Natty and Ruby and give me Joe versus Hardy.
Okay, you love this. I hated it. I thought it was dumb. How is Samoa Joe able to broadcast himself from the bar and then get himself onto the big screen?
Joe has connections backstage.
And then why is Jeff Hardy being the idiot looking up at the screen at Samoa Joe, who's clearly not backstage? He's at a bar somewhere in Austin, Texas, but yet Randy Orton's right behind him while he's having a real match, and then Randy Orton doesn't do anything wrong.
RKO.
He RKO's him.
Wins.
Just right in his face. He gets the victory. So Jeff Hardy doesn't look sympathetic in this. He looks like an idiot. Why you pay attention to Samoa Joe when Randy Orton's right behind you?
I think I really liked it because I enjoy out-of-arena segments. I really like the the market brawl with Booker T and Steve Austin.
See, that would have been fine if you do this when Jeff Hardy's cutting a promo or afterwards, after the match. But when it's during the match, this is something they do in WWE way too often. Is you make babyfaces look like idiots by these distraction finishes, and this is one of the worst ones I've ever seen because he's not even in the arena. He's looking at him when you have Randy Orton, who's in kayfabe terms, one of the best of all time, who's won so many matches. You're not paying attention to him. You're paying attention to the guy on the TV.
I don't know. I mean, we'll see how it goes. I enjoyed the lines. I enjoyed the delivery, the enunciation.
And then once again, it's a heel speaking truth. Yes, he kind of comes off he kind of comes off saying a little, snide and a little.
Is Samoa Joe? Is Samoa Joe really a heel though? Really thinking about this, he just with the whole thing with AJ, he just wanted AJ to spend more time with his wife and kids. With this, he wants people to drink responsibly.
Yeah, so then what's the point? Where's the heel heat coming from? Yes, he says it in a certain.
I don't know, man.
He says it in a certain way to where he, comes off like an a-hole, but then he is speaking truth and saying, "Don't have 14 beers, just have a couple with your boys, and then go back home and don't drink and drive," and all that other stuff that we all know should be true. And he comes off and says that to Jeff Hardy, and we're supposed to be sympathetic for Jeff Hardy.
I don't know, man.
I mean, unless if he pulls up Jeff Hardy mugshots and is bringing up past demons from 10 years ago, then yes, that's when Jeff or Samoa Joe crosses the line. But at the moment, why am I not supposed to like Samoa Joe?
Let's do that. Let's really dive in there. Let's make it happen. Let's get some ruthless aggression. I'll be all for it. All right, and then the phenomenal AJ Styles defeats The Miz. Daniel Bryan on commentary gold. I loved everything about it. Him ripping Byron Saxton for eating chicken, being a chicken consumer, loving chicken. He says, I see you, pile that on your plate. Which, if you listen to Sam Roberts' podcast this week, he said when he was backstage at Survivor Series, there was no chicken out, and Byron Saxton was furious. And then he filled up on other stuff, comes by, and sees that the chicken has been placed out, and he was very upset. So, continuity there. I enjoyed it. But what do you think of the match between these two men?
The match itself was okay, but usually I don't watch these matches. But I stay tuned just to listen to the commentary. Daniel Bryan did not disappoint. As you said, he buried Byron Saxton. Corey Graves was trying to kiss up to him, and Daniel Bryan was having none of it. It was great. Daniel Bryan is fantastic, and I love the new Daniel Bryan. I'm obsessed with the new Daniel Bryan.
Yes, I'm obsessed with that word fickle. I love it. I love everything about it. Then Daniel Bryan goes on to assault AJ Styles, stomping him in the face and
I hope that's a safe move. I hope AJ doesn't get hurt by that, but it looks great.
on the neck. Yeah, it looks vicious. So we'll see what happens next week on the Go Home show for Smackdown Live. All right, Superstar Spotlight. Who do we got? Who do we got? Who do we got?
So I picked. Oh, sorry, I got ahead of myself. I was ready for the promo pick.
I know you.
I was ready. I'm ready to go home. But anyways, this is Superstar Spotlight. Can it be anybody but Daniel Bryan? Daniel Bryan, straight fire on the promos with him, Miz. I thought he just was great all around, attacking the baby faces, not buddy-budding with the heels. Daniel Bryan, all the way.
It is Daniel Bryan. Fickle, Daniel Bryan, fickle. Shout out.
Even though he's going to be the most loved thing in 6 months, but yeah. I'm going to enjoy the heel Daniel Bryan when I can.
Daniel Bryan should drop an album called Fickle. Just do it for us. All right, let's get into our promo pick of the week. Take it away.
Okay, here we go. Now that's what I was talking about. So I picked this on Wednesday, I believe. So this was when Dynamite Kid passed away, but before Larry the Axe Hennig passed away. So I picked this back from, September 10th, 1983, I believe, Seattle NWA promotion. And Dynamite Kid is cutting a promo with his stablemates, and he's calling out Curt Hennig, saying that he will murder him. Not the biggest fan of that because we all know he's not going to actually do that, but we all know Dynamite Kid, for his spectacular matches, wasn't the best promo work in the world. It's only like a 45-second, minute-long promo, but if you type up Dynamite Kid promo, it's the first thing that comes up. Go check it out.
Yeah, I watched it today. I enjoyed it. I forget the other guys who were with him in the promo, but, Dynamite Kid, short, simple, sweet, to the point.
The Assassin, somebody else.
Yes. Short, simple, sweet, and to the point.
Shout out to the Assassin.
All right, my match pick of the week. Axel Rotten versus Ian Rotten. Brother versus brother in a Taipei death match. ECW Hardcore Heaven 1995. This was on that ECW 50 OMG Moments that's on the WWE Network. These fools taped their hands up and they glued broken pieces of glass to them, and then they just chopped each other, they punched each other. It's one of the most gruesome things I've ever seen in wrestling, and then they did a second one for God knows why. But yeah, man, go on the WWE Network if you have it. It's about an hour and 4 minutes in. Axel Rotten versus Ian Rotten, Taipei Deathmatch, ECW Hardcore Heaven, 1995.
It's not the longest match in the world. I don't even know if it reaches 10 minutes. I watched it. I've been vocal that I am not a fan of hardcore deathmatch wrestling, and this is just one of the examples why. Especially, it's even takes more significance now that Axel Rotten is no longer with us, so this is maybe one of the reasons why he ended up dying. He has CTE. This isn't like a hard-hitting match in terms of like chair shots and all that other stuff. It's mostly, as you said, the taped fists with the glass. So it's a lot of blood. It's very gruesome. I love blood in wrestling, but then this kind of puts it past the limit, and I was not a fan of this match.
Yeah, it was crazy. The second one is free on YouTube. Just type in Taipei ECW. It's like the first thing that pops up. All right, ladies and gentlemen, follow us on Twitter at BulletCast, Instagram The BulletCast, YouTube channel The BulletCast. We're on SoundCloud, iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn, Google Play, iHeartRadio, 99.9 FM, KW in Watsonville. Email us bulletcast2 and the number 2 sweet SWET at gmail.com. The title's on the line next week for Ring of Honor Final Battle. He gets his contractually obligated rematch one-on-one. The title's on the line for TLC, and Sunday I'll know if I beat Mendoza for the championship. God, Brock shows up more than he does.
See, this is why I was under protest for this. I show up every single week, and then I lose to someone who shows up once every blue moon.
Once every 5 to 6 months.
I am the reigning defending NXT champion. Both times I've come in, I have defeated I've defended my championship on NXT, and then I just can't get it past a WWE show. So it's a shame.
It's a shame. Maybe the fans will vote best Bullet Cast champion in 2018. There were only 4 of them, but we'll see.
You never forget your first.
Oh, that's true. Never forget your longest reigning. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this has been Bullet Cast. Next week, we may be on Friday. We may be on some other day during the week. I don't know yet. I've got other obligations I have to attend to. We'll see you next time. Goodbye and good night. Bang, bang, bang.
This has been the Bulletcast. Thank you for listening.